How I grew to accept myself. I think we can all agree that everyone wants to improve certain parts of themselves. And it's not wrong for a skinny person trying to become stronger inside the gym, for example. It's okay to improve your physical health. It's okay to improve your beauty. It's okay to improve your personality. And a person won't just sit there and stay the same their whole life and try to accept themselves that way. Accepting yourself comes from change. And the more you change into the person you want to become, the further you accept yourself. For example, on TikTok, you can see what's something called looks maxing. And a lot of people are trying to validate themselves by trying to improve their looks much more. The reason they're trying to improve their looks is because they didn't accept themselves before they started looks maxing. And you can see from this example that a lot of people will do certain things in order to change and accept themselves in a positive or negative way. And I would say looks maxing is more of a negative way, especially when you go to the extreme, like trying to get surgery or injecting yourself with like certain substances. But you can definitely do it in a positive way as well. And I think that's what you're meant to differ. If you realize that there's negative ways of accepting yourself by changing into someone you shouldn't be, or changing into someone that you want to be but you're going to extreme extents in order to do so, or trying to accept yourself in a more natural and positive way. The reason you don't accept yourself right now is because you don't like who you are right now. And in order to be able to accept yourself right now, you have to be able to become the person you want to become. And as you become that person, you'll accept yourself a lot more. For example, in my case, I started self-improvement when I was 13. And it was going well at first. And then eventually I became depressed because I wasn't seeing a particular result in a certain aspect that I wanted. And I dwelled on it for a long time. And what I should have done was keep moving forward, but I never did. I stayed in the present moment or stayed in the past, and I dwelled on it until I became quite depressed. But over time, as I recollected myself and a lot of change started to happen, I started to improve myself slowly by doing things that I love and by doing things that I needed to do, and I improved my mental health a lot more. And everyone wants to improve themselves, whether they know it or not, and everyone wants to be a certain type of person. And in order to achieve that type of person that you want to become, you should do the steps in order to become that type of person. And in doing so, you learn to accept yourself in a more positive light, because you started chasing something that you're meant to. And if you don't know who you want to be, I would recommend trying to get a piece of paper and finding out what you want and what type of person do you want to be in the future. Because if you don't like people and the way certain people are, for example, then become the opposite of them. If you hate the arrogant person, then become the humble. If you hate the loud, obnoxious person who disturbs others, then become the person who listens all the time and hears out other people and their problems. And as a result, once you try to become that character, you learn to accept yourself as who you are. So instead of trying to accept yourself in the current state you are, whether it be because you have a bad mental perception of yourself, because of other people's opinions, or because of your own insecurities, you should learn that you take priority first, and you should improve yourself slowly as a result.